Hi everybody, hola, ¿cómo están? My name is Marcelo Abreu and I'm president of Latinos Unidos. Yo soy Marcelo Borrell y soy presidente de Latinos Unidos. This is
Yo soy Alejandra.
DJ, Sebastián,
Jared,
María. Michelle.
y nosotros somos Latinos Unidos. We want to thank everyone for coming today. Muchas gracias por venir. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate having y'all learn about our rights just as people, not as immigrants, not as Americans, but as humans. Know your rights, conozca sus derechos. Hoy vamos a estar hablando, we're going to be talking about who is ICE, quién es ICE, adentro y afuera del hogar, in and outside of the house, what to do when you're detained, qué es lo que vamos a hacer cuando estamos detenidos, and our plan of action, el plan de acción. ¿Quién es ICE? Who is ICE? ICE es Inmigración y Aduanas. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. That spells ICE. ICE are the people that are going to come knocking on an immigrant's door to arrest them and to detain them. ICE son los policías que van a venir a detenerte y a arrestarte si eres un inmigrante ilegalmente. ¿Cómo se ven? How do they look like? Well, one thing that's tricky about ICE is they don't have to dress a certain way and they don't have to say that they're ICE. They can come in uniforms that just say police on them and they don't have to, or even if they do, they might not always announce themselves as ICE. Sometimes they'll also have a little, immigration and customs enforcement on their shirts, on their vests. Muchas veces ICE no va a tener el nombre de ellos, inmigración y aduanas, arriba de ellos, pero van a decir policía. Y tenemos que saber cómo, tenemos que tener cuidado siempre, no importa cómo se ven. ICE can also wear plain clothing. They can be dressed just like you or me, and they can come to your house and say, oh, we're investigating something. And you open the door and you just let ICE into your home. ICE también puede ponerse ropa plana, normal, como está vestido usted o como está vestido ella o yo, y pueden venir a tu casa cuando quieran. No tienen que identificarse con un badge. They don't always have to put on a badge. Ahora vamos a ver un video. We're going to watch a video called Inside the House. Outside the House. Afuera del hogar. It's going to be in English, and we're going to go ahead and translate in Spanish after. Just go ahead and hit on the main points. El video va a ser en inglés, pero también vamos a hablar en español cuando se termine el video.
It was 5:30 a.m. when ICE came to Esther's apartment. ICE stands for Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The agents lied to Esther, saying they were police officers investigating a crime and her husband, Alexei, was a potential witness. Is Alexei home? They asked innocently. Now Esther's gut told her she should cooperate, but she remembered something she'd heard on the radio. ICE had been making early morning sweeps using tricks like this to get people to open their doors. Esther remembered she had rights. ICE may try similar tricks at your home. They may say they're looking for a friend, relative, or roommate. But do not be fooled, and do not open the door. Instead, remain calm and be polite. Tell the agents that you'd like to see a warrant and their ID. Ask them to slip these documents under the door or hold them up to the people. Without a warrant signed by a judge, ICE is not allowed to enter or search your home. ICE usually won't have a warrant, but they may lie and say they do, or show you something else that looks official. So look carefully and take pictures of whatever they show you. If they refuse to share any of these documents, then ask them for their card and contact information. Do not show the agents anything or say anything except, "I do not consent for you to enter my home. I do not want to talk to you without a lawyer present. Please leave." Now, ICE won't always listen to you and may enter your home using force. But saying these things might help you in court, even if the agents don't listen. The other videos in this series will help you understand your rights if ICE enters your home or arrests you. Esther and Alexei knew their rights, and the officers left. This is all scary, but remember, we have rights. After an encounter with ICE, take notes about what happened, writing down as many details as you can remember. This information might be helpful in future immigration proceedings. It's important that you and your loved ones are prepared for encounters with ICE, and that you have a plan for what to do if one of you is arrested, including information about who to call. If ICE comes to your home, remember, you have rights. Do not open the door. Ask to see a warrant signed by a judge. Tell them you do not consent to them being at your home. Please leave. If a loved one is arrested, you should be able to locate them at locator.ice.gov.
Does anybody have any questions? Well, I'm just gonna say the same thing, just in Spanish. So, cuando se encuentren afuera del hogar, no abra la puerta, mantengan la calma. Tienes derecho a no abrir la puerta. Si decides hablar con los agentes, hazlo a puerta cerrada. Dirán y harán lo que sea, lo que puedan para que abras la puerta. No dejes que te intimiden. Pide una orden. Diles que deslicen la orden debajo de la puerta o que la muestren a través de una ventana. Si no tienen una orden, si te están buscando a ti o a un ser querido, no mientas. Di, no quiero hablar contigo ni dejarte entrar. Diles que dejen su información de contacto. Si tienen una orden, inspecciónala de cerca. Debe ser firmada por un juez para que sea válida. Debe tener la ortografía correcta de su nombre y dirección. Si no, puedes decir, esa persona no vive aquí. O más probable es que te utilicen una orden de deportación de ICE. No es lo mismo que una orden de registro firmada por un juez. Si no es una orden adecuada, dígales que no tiene que dejarlos entrar sin una orden firmada por un juez. Escriba todo. Asegúrese de escribir cada detalle que usted recuerde. Podría ayudar en el futuro.
At this time, I'm going to ask y'all to look at y'all papers that I handed out to y'all earlier.
A este momento le vamos a pedir que vean los papeles que se les fueron dados al principio.
If ICE shows up at your door with a warrant, this is most likely what they'll show you.
Si viene ICE a tu puerta con una orden de deportación, lo más seguro es que van a venir con esta forma.
This is not a valid warrant.
No es válida.
It is not signed by a judge, it's signed by an immigration officer.
No es firmada por un juez, fue firmada por un agente de inmigración.
So if ICE shows up at your door with a invalid document or warrant, then you can tell them, I do not give you permission to enter my house, please leave.
Si te vienen con esta forma, les puedes decir, no te doy permiso de entrar en casa, por favor váyanse, no quiero hablar con ustedes.
If you look at the other paper, this is what a valid warrant looks like.
Si ven el otro papel, ese orden es por un juez y sí es legal.
One of the differences between a valid warrant and an invalid warrant is a valid warrant will have a signature from a judge, while an invalid warrant will have a signature from an immigration officer.
La diferencia más drástica es que la firma del juez es la más importante.
If ICE shows up at your door with a valid warrant, if the person who they're looking for is not there at the moment, then you still don't have to let them in.
En caso que sí lleguen con una orden que sea legal, que sí es correcta, firmada por un juez, y no la persona del que vienen a buscar, decir si me vienen a buscar a mí, pero yo no estoy en la casa, no tienen que dejarnos entrar, no tienen derecho a entrar. Puedes decir, esta persona no está aquí o no vive aquí.
Also, if the name on the warrant is not spelled correctly or the address isn't named correctly, then you still don't have to let them in. You can say they're not here or this is not the right address, may you please leave.
Si el nombre está deletreado incorrectamente, una letra está mal o un acento o algo así, pueden decir, esta persona no vive aquí. O también lo mismo con la dirección. Si la dirección está mal, pueden decir, esta persona no vive aquí, por favor váyanse.
If you might want to try and get a picture of these warrants, so if you have to go to court, you can use it as evidence.
Para tomar evidencia, por favor, si les presentan con una forma, tómenle foto para tener evidencia cuando vayan a la corte o si les toca ir a la corte.
But if you want to take a picture of it, do not open your door. Ask them to slide it under your door.
Por favor, no abran la puerta, pídeles mejor que la entren por debajo de la puerta, que la metan por debajo, o que la pongan a una ventana que sí pueda ver.
Ahora vamos a ver un video que se llama En el hogar adentro. Now we're going to watch a video that's going to be inside the home. We're going to play this one in Spanish, so you know, kind of equal. Lo vamos a tocar en español y después la presentación lo van a presentar en inglés. And then the presentation can be in English.
Una mañana, mientras Alicia y Javi estaban preparando a su hija Sofía para la guardería, dos agentes de ICE llamaron a su puerta. ICE significa Inmigración y Aduanas. Los agentes dijeron que eran policías y estaban preocupados porque la identidad de Alicia había sido robada. Javi abrió la puerta para saber más al respecto. Esta fue la decisión equivocada. No abra la puerta si las autoridades llegan a su casa, no importa qué digan. Sin una orden firmada por un juez, no tienen autoridad para entrar. Pero tengan en cuenta, ICE puede entrar a su casa con fuerza de todos modos. Si lo hacen, pídales que se vayan si no tienen la orden apropiada. Esté preparado, no se asuste y recuerde, tenemos derechos. Los agentes de ICE pueden buscar en su casa documentos o otra evidencia que acredite su estado migratorio. Ellos no tienen el derecho de hacer esto a menos que tengan una orden firmada por un juez que les permite entrar y específicamente les dé permiso para buscar. ICE por lo general no tendrá una orden, pero puede mentir y decir que la tiene, o mostrarle algo más que parezca oficial. Dígale a ICE, no estoy de acuerdo con que estén en mi casa, por favor váyase. Si los agentes comienzan a buscar en su casa, dígales, no estoy de acuerdo con su búsqueda. Estas palabras pueden ser legalmente poderosas y decirlas podría ayudar a sus procedimientos de migración, incluso si los agentes no escuchan. Usted tiene el derecho de solicitar a los agentes de ICE su identificación, información de contacto y su orden y tomar fotografías de los documentos que le muestren. Probablemente no le darán estos documentos. No responda a ninguna pregunta y no comparta el paradero de sus seres queridos ni les muestre ningún documento, incluso si lo solicita, a excepción de un pasaporte válido de los Estados Unidos o de una tarjeta verde. Esta información puede hacerle daño en los procedimientos de inmigración. Alicia fue arrestada. Nunca interrumpa un arresto, ya que podría ser peligroso para usted o sus seres queridos. Después de que los agentes se fueran, Javi tomó fotos del daño a su hogar. Anotó tantos detalles sobre el encuentro como pudo recordar, sabiendo que podría ayudar a los procedimientos de migración de Alicia. Otros videos de esta serie le ayudarán a entender cuáles son sus derechos si usted es arrestado por ICE y cómo tratar de evitar que los agentes entren a su casa en primer lugar. Asegúrese de que usted y sus seres queridos estén preparados para los encuentros con ICE y tengan un plan si uno de ustedes es arrestado, incluyendo información sobre a quién debe llamar. Si los agentes de ICE entran a su casa, recuerde, usted tiene derechos. Dígales que no está de acuerdo con su presencia o búsqueda. Pida ver una orden firmada por un juez. No interrumpa un arresto. Si un ser querido es arrestado, podría localizarlo en locator.ice.gov.
I'm going to be talking about if ICE comes inside your house, you do have the right to tell them to leave. You have the right to stay silent. If they do not have a warrant signed by a judge, like as you guys have the example of, they are not allowed to search through your things. You can ask for the warrant. You can tell them that you do not consent to them searching through your things, and you can repeat it many times. Do not intend to stop and arrest if one is happening, and do not lie. Do not show any documents unless it is a green card or a U.S. passport. Write down everything that happens in the interaction and take pictures. You will receive a key card at the end of the workshop explaining more.
Now we're gonna watch a video. It's about if you're detained. El video es si estás detenido. This is one of the more important parts because after they've got you in your home, after they've got you, outside, whatever, this is when you're detained by ICE when they have you and they're arresting you. The video will be in English and the presentation will be in Spanish.
Samir's wife asked him to stop at the store on his way home from work to pick up groceries. While shopping, Samir noticed a man who seemed to be watching him. Was he paranoid? Probably, he thought. Samir's heart started racing when he saw a second man watching him outside the store. He moved deliberately toward his car, telling himself there was nothing to worry about. I'm totally being paranoid, he told himself. That's when he felt a forceful grip on his shoulder. Without identifying themselves, the two men began to bark questions at Samir. It was ICE. ICE stands for Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Arrests like these happen every day, and they happen out of nowhere. It's scary, but remember, we have rights. If you are arrested by ICE, remain silent. Ask to speak to a lawyer even if you don't have one. If you witness ICE making an arrest, it is your right to document what you see by taking notes or videotaping. Do not interrupt the arrest, but you have the right to ask for identification and badge numbers. If you've been arrested, do not sign anything. Keep whatever information ICE gives you. They will have important information for your family. After ICE arrests you, they will likely take you to an ICE office and ask you more questions before starting a deportation case against you and deciding whether or not to send you to a detention facility. Remember, do not say anything without a lawyer present. You can ask to speak to a lawyer even if you don't have one. Within about a day, loved ones will be able to search for your location at the website included below. This is all scary, but remember, we have rights. Be sure that you and your loved ones are prepared for encounters with ICE and that you have a plan for what to do if one of you is arrested, including information about who you should call. If you are arrested by ICE, remember, you have rights. Remain silent. Ask to speak to a lawyer. Do not sign anything. If a loved one is arrested, you should be able to locate them at locator.ice.gov.
Si está detenido, permanece en silencio. No respondes a ninguna pregunta, serán usados en tu contra. Pide hablar con un abogado. Puedes pedir hablar con un abogado, aunque no tengas uno. deben proporcionarte una lista si no la tiene. Póngase en contacto con su consulado. Tiene derecho a ponerse en contacto con su consulado. Pueden ser capaces de ayudarte a encontrar un abogado. No firmes nada. Mantenga todo lo que te dan. Usted se puede negar a firmar un documento mientras no se encuentra enfrente de un abogado. Si decide firmar algo sin hablar con un abogado, asegúrese de entender exactamente lo que el documento dice y significa antes de firmar. Tienes derecho a un abogado, pero el gobierno no tiene que darte uno. Si no tiene abogado, solicitan una lista de servicios legales gratuitas o de bajo costo. Tiene derecho a ponerse en contacto con un consulado o a que un oficial informe a un consulado de su arresto. Dile al agente de ICE que deseas permanecer en silencio. No discute estatus de inmigración con nadie más que con su abogado. No firme nada, como una salida voluntaria, sin hablar con un abogado. Si usted firma, usted puede estar perdiendo su oportunidad para tratar de permanecer en los Estados Unidos. Recuerda su número de inmigración, número A, y dárselo a su familia. Va a ayudar a los miembros de tu familia en localizarte. Guarda una copia de tu documento de inmigración con alguien en que confiar. ¿Cómo encontrar a su ser querido? Si algo sucede a uno de sus seres queridos, puede hacer un seguimiento de dónde están utilizando el localizador de detenidos en línea o llamando al número de teléfono de la Corte de Inmigración. Entonces con esta página, si sabes el número puedes obtenerlo y luego el país de nacimiento. Si no sabes el número de A, puedes poner el nombre, apellido, país y fecha de nacimiento. Ahora, como algunos nombres a veces tienen diferentes letras o son maneras escritas en maneras no normales, a veces puede unos tardar un poco para buscarlos.
Alright, and so this is a plan of action to say that you are the likely chance that you will get deported.
Este es un plan de acción en caso que sí te detengan y prueben a deportarte.
Now here is to consider the following of your properties and children.
Considere lo siguiente, ponga una carta de poder en lugar para sus niños y para su propiedad.
With to consider having a power of attorney for your kids and properties. It is also like a chance that for your kids, consider finding someone who you trust to take care of them if anything would happen to you or your partner.
Este es un modo legal de poder darle poder a alguien, un familiar, alguien conocido, para que tengan derechos de sus niños cuando sean deportados, cuando sean detenidos.
So know your services of your consul, save money, and know and have resources.
Es importante tener los servicios de su consulado en mente, saber la información de eso, ahorrar dinero por si acaso algo pase y saber y tener los recursos listos para en caso.
Edúquese, prepárese y empodérate. Educate yourself, prepare yourself, and empower yourself. Esperamos que con esta presentación usted tenga una mejor comprensión de sus derechos. We hope that with this presentation, everyone here has a better understanding of their rights. This is not legal advice. Esto no es consejo legal. But we do recommend that you consult with a lawyer that you confide in. Les recomendamos que consulte con un abogado de confianza. You have rights. Tienes derechos. Now, one thing I want to touch on before we finish this presentation is, I know that a lot of us in here are not going to be exactly affected by ICE and immigration officers. But one of the most important things you can do after this presentation is done is tell a friend. If there's someone that confides in you and you know their legal status, tell them what you learned today. Go look up these videos. Go tell them that you're here, they can trust in you, and that you're here to help them. Si tienes amigos o amigas que tienen que estar con ICE y tienen que preocuparse por su inmigración, su estado de inmigrante, necesitan saber que tienen amigos, que tienen alguien que está con ellos. Todo lo que aprendiste de esta presentación, úsalo y dile a ellos qué hacer y llévale todos los handouts y todo para que tú le ayudes. Ahora, gracias por su tiempo. Preguntas. Thank you for your time. Questions.
Last year, when we had this presentation, there was a telephone number that was given to us, and if we saw ICE in the area, we could report it, because they said sometimes if they know in advance, that helps. Do you know what that number is? There was somewhere we could text to. It was like 8787.
Yeah, so that's a national hotline that United We Dream has. If we have these flyers over there, the number is down here. Locally, AIR, Advocates for Immigrant Rights and Reconciliation, is working on a local hotline that we're hoping to have up in the beginning of the year. But yeah, that number is here on the bottom of this flyer.
Any more questions? Más preguntas.
Is there anywhere that ICE does not have authority? Like places, spaces?
Can they come to schools?
Can they come to school, churches? Is there anywhere that's off limits for them?
Well, KCKPS has taken the position that they cannot come into our schools.
We don't
So
open the
they
door.
have some policies in places where they have safe places where they're not supposed to go into the schools. Schools are one, but it also depends on whether the administration is willing to work with them or not. Churches is another one. We've seen hospitals are another one, and Synergy, that is a domestic violence shelter. Am I missing any other ones? Okay. So there are a few places where they're not supposed to go into, but we also know that ICE is a unregulated, unsupervised agency, so they can pretty much do whatever they want.
La pregunta fue que si hay unos lugares que ICE no puede venir. Y la respuesta es que no pueden entrar a las escuelas si la administración no le da consejo, no le ayudan. No pueden entrar a iglesias, ¿cómo es algo? Hospitales.
Y
Albergues.
Y lugares de...
Albergues de violencia doméstica.
Exactamente. Gracias.
we all learn it here.
Sí, no pueden entrar a lugares así. Y en el hogar, como viste en el video, no pueden entrar si no le dan permiso. Y si no tienen warrant, si no tienen carta de poder. Si no tienen eso firmado por un juez, no pueden entrar a tu casa. Tú le dices que no pueden entrar. Nunca abre la puerta. Tú le hablas con la puerta cerrada y tú le dices no te doy permiso a entrar a mi casa. Any more questions? Preguntas.
So real quick, another point that he hit on that is super important is that they cannot legally enter a home without a valid warrant. Now we've seen that they are, because they don't care, and there's no one that's stopping them from doing it. But they cannot, and it's the same with public places, right? They can go in and use the public area, but they can't go into private areas where only the staff can go into.
Any more questions? Preguntas. Okay. Ahora le voy a dejar a Diana que ella va a enseñar algunos paquetes que van a llevar para ir a casa. Y sí, I'm going to give it off to Diana, and she's going to show you guys some packets that you're going to be able to take home and what they have in them.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of good resources if you work with immigrants or if you know people that are undocumented. Hay muchos recursos ahí en la mesa que pueden ayudar mucho. Uno es, lo llamamos paquetes de poder. We call them packets, power packets, that have a lot of good know your rights information, right? Kind of everything that was on that slide is in this little goodie bag. La bolsa tiene recursos de conocer tus derechos. Casi todo lo que estaba en la presentación está aquí adentro de la bolsita. Y la más importante es la cadena para poner adentro de la casa. One of the most important things is this door chain that's inside, to put inside your home. Esto puede, uno, recordarles que tienen derecho a no abrir la puerta, pero también puede servir como evidencia de que inmigración se forzó si lo quiebran. Y también puede preventar que si tienen niños que abren la puerta completamente. So this door chain serves as a reminder that you have the right to not open the door, but it can also serve as protection if you have kids that open the door. It can create a barrier, and it can also be used as evidence if they force themselves in, that you can take to court if you go there. Another thing is this door hanger that we tell people to put inside their doors. We only have it in Spanish, but it's still helpful to remember. It's just another reminder that you don't have to open the door. También están estas, se cuelgan adentro de la puerta de la casa para otro recuerdo que no tienen que abrir la puerta, y también hay 2 números del centro que está aquí y de nuestra organización, AIR, por si necesitan ayuda, y también atrás tiene los básicos, conocer sus derechos. Y también otra herramienta muy importante es esta tarjetita que se puede poner en su bolsillo. Les decimos que lo pongan en su carro, enseguida de su puerta, que le está diciendo, en este lado les dice sus derechos, en el otro lado le está diciendo al oficial que no quiere hablar con ellos y que tiene derecho a permanecerse en silencio y que no les da consentimiento de que busquen a su persona. This little card is super powerful, one for citizens and non-citizens alike. It's just stating that you are choosing your right to remain silent, that you do not give them consent to search your person, and that you don't want to let them inside your home. So anytime, and you can use it with a police officer, with an immigration officer, any sort of law enforcement, just give it to them. You don't got to talk to them, you don't got to say anything. So esto también se puede usar con la policía, con cualquier agente, nomás se los da y no tiene que decir nada. And last but not least, y lo último es este paquete que se llama Cuidémonos que sí. Como estamos hablando de hacer un plan, este es una recursa muy buena donde les puede dar, o aquí mismo pueden poner la información de usted, de su pareja, de sus propiedades, cuentas de bancos. También explica que es una carta de poder y en qué deben de pensar haciendo su plan para poder protegerse a usted y a su familia. So this is only in Spanish too, unfortunately, but it's a booklet that helps you start thinking through with your family on making a plan. It's also a centralized place where you can have you and your partner's information, your property information, your cars, and the bills. It also explains what a power of attorney is, which is, I think they mentioned earlier, it's a legal way for someone to be able to take care of your kids if you and your partner are both detained or deported. And that's super important because we don't want kids going into the foster care system if both of their parents are detained. Y la carta de poder es muy importante también porque puede servir que sus niños no se metan en el sistema, que se hace más difícil de poder que se los regresen y que se queden con alguien que con ustedes confían.
Thank you. Now we're gonna probably spend, like maybe 5-10 more minutes to go ahead and answer any questions you have, but not me answering them, professionals that we have here. So I'll give them all a minute to introduce themselves and gather themselves over here. Ahora vamos a tener un tiempo que puede preguntar a unos profesionales tú sabes, en inmigración, y les voy a dar un minuto para que ellos se introduzcan.
Sí, buenas noches, es un placer estar acá. Me llamo Raimundo Rico, soy abogado de migración aquí en Kansas City, Kansas. Más que todo quiero escucharles a ustedes y responder a sus preguntas. Pleasure to be here. My name is Raimundo Rico. I'm an immigration attorney here in Kansas City. More than anything, I just want to thank you for having this event and for the students for inviting us, and look forward to answering your questions.
Hi, my name is Theoslin Todd. I'm the lead community organizer at El Centro, and I'm glad to be here and open to any questions that you guys may have. Hola, mi nombre es Theoslin Todd, soy la organizadora comunitaria de El Centro y estoy muy feliz de estar aquí. Si tienen preguntas, por favor, déjenos saber.
Hi, I'm Diana. I'm the Executive Director of AIR, Advocates for Immigrant Rights and Reconciliation. And AIR helps families who are going through the deportation process, who have been detained, help them navigate through that process. We also do Know Your Rights, and we do family planning, and we help with the power of attorneys. So, mi nombre es Diana, estoy con AIR, una organización que lucha por los derechos inmigrantes, y ayudamos a familias que tienen a su ser querido en detención, o si han sido deportados. Les ayudamos a navegar en el sistema y encontrar otros recursos los que necesitan, y también ayudamos con presentaciones de conocer sus derechos, y ayudamos con planes para poder proteger a su familia y ustedes.
Hola, soy Misael, yo soy un voluntario con el centro. Estoy de voluntario para poder ayudar a avisarle a la comunidad más de sus derechos. Hi, I'm Misael. I'm a volunteer with El Centro, and I've been volunteering just so I could bring awareness for undocumented and documented people and citizens about what's going on and their rights.
So, ¿tienen preguntas? Do you guys have any questions?
Any questions?
Hoy mismo he escuchado de un joven que estaba en corte con su hermano, corte por violación de tráfico. Ahí estaba esperando ICE, inmigración, por el hermano, pero llevaron a los dos fueron arrestados, y el hermano, que nunca ha tenido ningún delito criminal, está en proceso de deportación. Por eso él tenía que saber los derechos que tenía, porque tenía derecho a decir que no tenía orden de arresto por él, pero sí fue arrestado, y por eso ya está en proceso de deportación. Por eso ese tipo de consejos son súper importantes.
I do have a question. If I'm someone with limited English proficiency, and I can't read English well, and these both have signatures on them, and they both have titles underneath them that look official, is there a quick way that I can look at one document? They both are going to have signatures on them. They're both going to have legal information. Is there another quick way? Like, will there be a seal or a raised seal or something else to look for? I noticed this one is written kind of like a letter, and this one is kind of written like a checklist.
So, for instance, the second one, any document that gets presented to you must be explained in your language, your native language. So it's the government's responsibility to do so. And if it's a warrant, it's sufficient if they read it out for you. But but they must translate every document to you, and I always advise people, don't sign anything that you don't understand. And you have the right to say, this is not my native language, and it's their obligation to be able to translate it for you.
And I think the quickest way, and we've been working with people too, is just recognizing the word judge and looking for judge. Because the ICE warrant, it's just going to say INS officer. It's never going to say judge. So just knowing that word and looking for that, I think is the key.
And the Department of Homeland Security does have an official looking seal, and so that can be confusing for people to believe that an ICE agent that works for the Department of Homeland Security has an official seal on their documents that they serve, but it doesn't mean that it's a valid warrant.
Entonces la pregunta fue, ¿qué pasa si uno no sabe tanto el inglés para leerlo, verdad? ¿Qué otras maneras podemos averiguar si es una forma legal? Lo que estaba diciendo Raymond Rico, do you want to just say it in Spanish?
Es que cualquier documento que sirve migración a uno tiene que estar traducida en su idioma de origen. Entonces, si todo está en inglés, tiene derecho a decir a ellos que no está en mi idioma, y por eso ellos tienen obligación, están obligatorios traducir cualquier documento o leerlo en su idioma. Y si no se puede decir que no es en mi idioma y se puede rechazar el voto.
Disculpe, por ejemplo, si hay personas que yo escucho mucho que dicen que si tienes algún problema con la policía o debes ticket, tienes más el riesgo de ser deportado, o todos corremos el mismo riesgo, aunque no tengas problemas, si ya fuiste detenido o quedaste a deber ticket.
Es difícil decir 100% porque hay muchos que sin delitos, sin récord criminal, están adentro del sistema del proceso de deportación y que fueron deportados. No es solamente los últimos 2 años, también antes de esta administración, pero los riesgos sí son más por cualquier infracción. Estamos viendo más infracciones de tránsito que la policía está preguntando si tiene estatus legal o están llamando a migración para ver por qué no están respondiendo si o no tienen estatus legal. Por eso están llamando a migración también. Pero sí, delitos criminales, ahí en el corte están arrestando gente y si a veces trabajan con esos oficiales de probación y durante su probación están arrestando gente. Pero sí, hay algunos delitos que migración siempre es el cárcel o los policías siempre van a llamar a migración. Entonces los riesgos sí son más altos si tienen delitos criminales en el récord.
So the question, the question was pretty much what happens are you treated the same if you have more of a record, if you don't have a record, etc. The main answer is they don't really look at that. Like if you're right next to the person, they will take you as well. But at the same time, if you do have a record, it's more of a higher chances of you getting,
detained or transferred over to ICE. We're seeing more and more people with no criminal histories whatsoever, people with just regular traffic violations. When they're following what they're given the right to do is to stay silent, but they're calling immigration on persons and then saying, we believe that this person may not have legal status. If you want to talk to this person, we can hold them for you for a certain period of time in order for ICE to come and talk to them.
Y la última cosa que les quiero decir es que también la manera que dijeron que cómo pueden averiguar si es legal o no, ¿verdad? La cosa que estaba diciendo Diana es que tenemos que aprender que cómo letrear judge o juez en inglés, ¿verdad? G-U-D-G-E. Entonces esa palabra, si uno puede recordar cómo se letrea, es una manera que puede identificar si es un juez y si no es un juez. Esa es otra manera otra herramienta que pueden usar para que ustedes puedan identificar si es legal o no la forma.
2 questions. The warrants look the same in every state. And then I was just reading this one, and it doesn't have anyone's name in it. Are most warrants just a general search for any undocumented person? That way they don't have to spell the name correctly. You know, is that their way around the legal status of having to spell someone's name accurately?
per business, I think.
There is no general warrant that can just be served. It must be specific. If not, it's not valid. It
So
has
the
to.
address is specific, but there's no person they're looking for, it just says any undocumented person in this area.
So it would be ineffectual.
Okay.
And they use this word, it's called collateral, but in their mind, it means that we are going for one person, but we'll arrest anybody else that's in the vicinity, and that is not legal. That is not legal, it's a violation of one's right to do something like that. Me está diciendo que ese orden de arrestos, algo en general no tiene el nombre de ninguna persona. El problema con eso es que tiene que estar específico. Cualquier orden de arresto tiene que nombrar la persona, dirección, edad, nacionalidad, en mi opinión. Y por eso, si no tiene el nombre de la persona, no es efectivo ese orden de arresto.
Entonces, ellos pueden ir a nuestros trabajos y encontrarnos por nuestros nombres, tienen acceso a podernos tomar ahí.
Entonces, sí pueden llegar a su trabajo y sí pueden retenerlos ahí, agarrarlos o detenerlos ahí también. También serían los mismos derechos, mantenerse callado, saber sus derechos, a llamar a su abogado y no decirles más de su nombre. Lo único que ustedes tienen que decirle es el nombre y no tienen que decirle si sí son de acá, si no son de acá, no, nada de información. Después es la tarjetita que dijo Diana, esa tarjetita la puede enseñar, decir, no quiero hablar con mi abogado primero y sería lo que tenía que decir. Pero sí todavía la pueden detener y sí todavía la pueden llevar. Lo primerizo va a ser saber sus derechos ahí, pero sí puede pasar. No le puedo decir que no vaya a pasar, pero sí puede pasar.
Eso por eso estamos diciéndole a la gente que deben de empezar a hacer un plan con sus compañeros de trabajo. Si trabajan con alguien con que pueden hablar de eso, que ellos hagan un plan y que no tienen, es el mismo derecho de ellos. Si inmigración no tiene una orden válida, no los tienen que dejar entrar. Entonces, para su empleado que sepa que ellos también tienen derechos si viene inmigración a su lugar. Y como estaba diciendo más temprano, hay áreas que sí pueden entrar, áreas públicas, pero hay áreas privadas que no tienen derechos a entrar si no tienen una orden de juez.
What Diana and Jocelyn were saying is that basically that there are areas where ICE can enter that's public space, but it's very important for at any kind of company, any kind of, here at the school there's a front area where that person should be trained and should know that if they don't have a warrant for somebody, they're not permitted to enter, a valid warrant. And we're kind of talking about what should people know. Say the situation is you're at a company and ICE comes in. Can they arrest everyone? The main thing to do is to have everybody there have a plan in action ready to go. That everybody remains silent. That if they're there for one person in particular, then they would have a right to detain somebody if they have an arrest warrant. But everyone else that's questioned, citizens, residents, those with DACA, and those who don't have any legal status, everybody should follow the same order. I mean, there are instances where they do enter into companies, and those that are citizens, they say, don't come after me, I'm a citizen. And if everybody does that one-to-one, then they're going to arrest people that they don't have warrants for, just thinking that, okay, these people have proclaimed their citizenship, and others that are left out to dry, and those are your co-workers, sometimes friends, family members. So if everyone has a plan, then everything should shake out all right, and they don't have resources to detain everybody. If they do, it's a major action that they're undertaking. But normally if they enter a work site, they should only go after the person that they have a warrant for, and everyone else should be aware that they don't have to share any information with agents as to who everybody is. And all you have to do is share your own personal name. You don't have to share any further information about yourself.
Y también otra cosa es no correr. Si llegan corriendo, ellos lo ven automáticamente que está diciendo que está aquí sin documentos. Y también, o sea, los van a tratar de que digan ustedes que están aquí sin documentos. Les van a preguntar lo que sea. Le van a preguntar de dónde es, dónde nació, si está aquí legalmente. No les tiene que contestar. También pueden hacer un truco donde dicen todos los que tienen papeles váyanse allá y todos los que no, váyanse para allá. Ustedes no tienen que, se pueden quedar donde están y no tienen que hacerle caso. Y también no mienta, no les diga que está aquí legalmente, no les diga que tiene permiso de trabajar, no cargue con usted, si tiene un permiso falso de trabajar, no lo cargue con usted, porque eso le puede dañar.
No tira la chancla.
Okay, so the other thing that we want to add on is if ICE does come to the company or to the place of work, do not run. That's one of the first things. That's giving them pretty much an excuse to kind of pull you over and pressure you even more. The other thing is, like they were saying, have a plan, and also they can play some tricks. They can play some tricks where they can say, citizens go this way, non-citizens go to the other side. You don't have to even move. You can stay where you're at. You don't have to play that game, because then again, that's kind of tricking the people into saying who their legal status is or what their legal status is. The last point was also to, the last point was don't lie. So if they don't have proper identification or if they have a fake ID, don't try to lie. Don't try to say that that's legal or anything like that, or give a false name, because that all goes against you if they get sent to court. And that's all in their hearing, pretty much. So it's just accumulating evidence, and that's what you don't want to give them. You don't want to give them that evidence. You don't have to answer. They'll try to intimidate them. They'll try to get in there. You know, they'll try everything and anything to get those answers. They don't have to. You don't have to answer anything, and they'll try any intimidation to be a factor.
Hey everyone. So there's a story, I think happened last summer. There's a place in like River Market area, KC. A lady who come to borrow their husband, go there often to go by. She's been in the United States for like 20 years. She's married to a citizen. She had a social security number, a visa, and she got deported. And I've seen some other stories of them deporting people with green cards. How are they, I don't know, maybe I'm a little naive on this, but how are they actually deporting people with actual ID and green cards and stuff?
I'm not aware of any particular specific stories of those with green cards being deported without, for instance, at least a hearing in front of the immigration court.
Okay.
But I do believe that everyone that has a green card, they must honor your green card, at least for purposes of having your say, your say in court to respond to. And if you're hearing something otherwise, please blare it out there.
I just see it on the news every now and again. Because I knew the lady. I don't think she's back in the United States yet. And she had like a DUI charge 15, 20 years ago.
I remember the story. Unfortunately, I don't know all the particulars of the case or any past immigration run-in that I believe she may have had, but I don't claim to know all the details of her case. But everyone has the right. Many times when someone's detained, documents get presented to them. Just, hey, you have no case. You have no either family here or nothing. Something along those lines. They say, just sign here and we'll get you out of the country. That's not something that nobody should ever do. And so, especially if someone has a way to either legalize their status or is currently in some sort of status, should never sign any documents to leave without presenting your case in front of the court, in front of an immigration judge. Everyone has that right, and should take advantage of it. So anybody who's a resident or has DACA or has a way that they think they might be able to legalize should never do something like that. Su pregunta, los que son residentes, si están deportando los que son residentes. En mi experiencia no he visto nada así, que los que tienen la mica, la residencia en orden, que están deportando ya sin audiencia frente de un juez de inmigración. Todos tienen derecho, los sin la mica, los sin estatus legal tienen derecho a decir a cualquier agente, no quiero salir del país. A veces van a presentar documentos con una caja marcada diciendo que solamente quiero salir del país, no estoy perdonando mis derechos presentar mi caso en frente del juez. Nunca recomiendo eso, por lo menos deben presentar su caso en frente de un juez de inmigración. A veces hablar con un abogado, no tiene que ser yo, pero por lo menos saber más o menos sus derechos, qué tipo de opciones tiene uno para presentar su caso en frente de un juez de inmigración.
So if I'm remembering right for hers, she had a prior deportation order, and she was in the process of fixing her status, but it wasn't finalized yet. Which is what we've been seeing. When her case came out, is what we were seeing a lot happen throughout the community. Immigration started going after people that had prior deportation orders. Did people hear about Saeed Jamal? So he's a case that was similar. He had been here for over 20 years. He had citizen children, but because he had a prior deportation order, they came and they picked him up. And it didn't matter that he had gotten an order of supervision, which allowed people to be able to stay here. They didn't have a criminal record, or they had citizen children, but they threw that out the window. So they started going after those people, which were the low-hanging fruit.
DJ.
And they pushed it back for another 2 years
Yeah.
or 3 years.
So he is a very special case because we are working with a lot of families that have the same thing, but because he got so much national attention and had a lot of national support, they were able to let him stay. We were working with a family, his name is Crescencio Mendez, who had the same similar story. Unfortunately, he was not, he didn't have the same educational level that Saeed Jamal had, right? He was just a regular working person. We weren't able to get the same media attention, the same national support that Saeed Jamal get, and unfortunately he was deported. So now his wife is having to take care of 3 kids on her own, and is also having to take care of him because it's hard to find a job down there, and he's scared of the violence that is happening.
All the time. Oh, okay.
Real quick before we continue, I passed out these feedback questionnaires. You gotta just hand them out. You can turn them into me when we walk out the door. Just hold on to them. I appreciate y'all. And yeah, no, I mean, we got good 30 minutes left. We can just continue asking questions, keep learning, and I just hope that you guys, take some of this home. Continue.
¿Tenemos una pregunta?
Sí, tenemos un garage, ¿pueden ir dentro
del garage?
Es lo mismo. La puerta enfrente, la puerta atrás, garaje, ventanas, es lo mismo.
Es parte de la casa, so sin la orden no pueden entrar.
Es lo mismo, no hay. She's asking about, what about your garage? Can they go into your garage? And so, just saying that the garage, the front door, the back door, any windows at all, the same applies. They cannot enter without a warrant. Don't leave your garage door open.
Do they treat an open door as like a?
Absolutely.
Do they call like you're inviting me in?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's why these are important as well for the doors. But open garage, I say it as a joke. Don't leave the garage door open, but it's absolutely true.
So on a warrant, with a warrant, if you just refuse to answer or acknowledge, they'll kick the door. So wouldn't your best advice be just don't even respond and force them to do that?
I mean, I guess what I'm saying is if they don't even know if anyone's in the house, if they can't accurately identify, you just stay silent, go sit in your room, whatever. How often have you guys heard of cases where they're just kicking doors in just to find one person? That's a non-violent, the only thing they've got on them is they want to deport them.
What about just remaining silent? Well, I mean, again, often they are, they might wait for somebody to pull up to the house and then they walk up to the door. So you just don't know. Yeah, I mean, if you just don't encounter them to begin with until they just get tired and go away, that's
right.
That's
They're
fine.
not gonna. They've got to shift. Their shift ends at some point.
Right.
I mean, they don't want to work for 14 hours straight.
Yeah.
You wanna be on self-induced home arrest, I guess.
I mean, I would for a night if it meant me going to jail. I guess that's what I'm saying is like, wouldn't that be reasonable advice? Just don't answer, don't acknowledge, call your lawyer.
Yes.
Yeah.
They can, their normal operations have them waiting outside the door to see if someone shows up, if no one's home. Look for their work. Usually they try to do as much as they can to try to gather that kind of information, go to someone's work, or stake out a place. They're usually on 8-hour shifts, and so they don't really have shift changes where person A then, or agent A then agent B takes over the next 8 hours.
Sure, so if you wait it out.
They'll wait it out, or they'll come back the next
They'll
day.
come back.
But if they knock on their door, which there are documented cases where they have, that's against anybody's constitution.
And that's where I thought it might
protected rights.
be advantageous.
In the immigration context or elsewhere.
Right.
So, I mean, I think the purpose of this is, you know, this presentation is meant to prepare you like at every step of the process. You know, best case scenarios, you know, 0 encounter. You know, but then what if you do encounter them? Well, then you know not to open your door and, you know, tell them that this isn't an order signed by a judge, and so like, but then, you know, what if they bust in? Then here's the next set of rights that you need to know. Well, then what if, you know, you're arrested? Then what's the next set of rights you need to know? So, you know, like obviously you're starting at the ideal situation of not having the encounter, but at every phase you need to know like, okay, what's my rights now? What's my rights now? And I have had a case happen where a father, you know, came home, parked, walked in the house, and then minutes later, somebody knocked on his door and said, either like you hit my car or I hit your car, and something like that. Dad opens the door thinking it's, boom, it's ICE. Nothing to prevent them from lying. There's nothing to prevent them from using deception.
Which is why it's up to us, the community, to keep them in line and to observe them and to push back against them.
Eso es básicamente lo que, I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
go ahead.
básicamente lo que estaban preguntando es que qué pasa si no nomás nadie habla, entonces se queda bien callado, no abre la puerta ni nada, ¿verdad? La cosa es que los agentes pueden quedarse ahí hasta 8 horas, nomás esperando para ver si alguien llega o no llega. Entonces, sí se puede quedar callado y sí no tiene que decir nada, pero también siempre es bueno saber sus derechos, ¿verdad? La otra cosa que estaban explicando es que ICE puede venir y puede tratar de decir cualquier cosa, puede decir, ay, te pegué el carro, te puedo hablar bien rápido. Ahí, abren la puerta, ¿verdad? Y ellos pueden entrar. Pueden decir cualquier tipo de cosa para poder entrar a su casa o pueden esperar, pero usualmente ellos agarran información de las personas, ¿verdad? Ellos están ya recabando esa información, entonces siempre es bueno saber sus derechos últimamente, siempre es bueno saber sus derechos.
Y agarrar esa tarjetita, ¡pum!
Sí.
Nomás si está una policía allá acá en tu casa, ¿juntos te pueden venir en tu casa?
Sí.
¿Qué cuánto tiempo te pueden tener en la casa?
No, aunque si está una policía junto a tu casa, ¿pueden venir a ICE?
Asking if there's a cop nearby, can ICE still come into your house?
Okay. Digamos que si ellos van a otra, así, ¿no?
O sea, que viene un policía normal con un agente, con una de inmigración. Sí, igual lo mismo si no tienen una orden para entrar, o sea, un policía no puede entrar sin permiso tampoco, y de hecho, o sea, el policía más sabe de que no puede entrar a tu casa sin una orden de un juez. Así que lo mismo aplica. So the same applies, even if there's a nice agent accompanied by law enforcement. I mean, police are well aware of needing warrants. So if they don't have a judicial warrant, just by having an actual local law enforcement there wouldn't change the situation.
Yes.
So I don't know if y'all know, but the potluck has started. So if y'all want to go ahead and go eat, y'all can go. The panel will still be here to answer questions, right?
Absolutely.
You know, for a couple more minutes. But if y'all want to go, enjoy the potluck, you're welcome to. We appreciate everyone for coming, and we appreciate y'all period.
Can I ask one more question? This might apply to the students too. We have a lot of students in this building who are citizens, and they might know people that are not citizens, and in a way to not be insensitive, right? Is there like a simple website, like not an ACLU or a government website, is there a simple website that you guys have created or that we can create, or that maybe you guys have that we can say, hey, here is this information, we're giving it to everybody, not just like people we think might be,
Right.
do you know what I mean? Like, and we can just blanket give to all our students and say, hey, if you or someone you know is undocumented, here's a website where you can go to learn all this information, instead of having to hand out cards to everybody and pick and choose who gets it.
Well, see, the thing about the cards is that they're available to non-citizens and non-citizens
Okay.
alike, so y'all should carry them too.
Okay.
And then that eliminates that, you know, only undocumented people are carrying them.
And the videos are ACLU videos,
Yeah.
so they're available online. You guys feel free to share them on social media, what have you. They're in English and Spanish, so easy access for everyone. You can also follow pages, like follow the El Centro page, follow AIR's Facebook page, and just, you know, get updates that way.
And we always can come back, and you know, Diana and I always do trainings on different things, so we can always come back and talk to staff. We can always come back and talk to anybody that needs to talk. But at the same time, that's why we give the resources out,
Yeah.
in order to know those resources in case maybe you may not know, but you can tell them, hey, this is where you can go and they can help you out. You know?
And on the student side, I think that's a great next project, you know, we can make, you know, a little spot in the school loop page. And yeah, we can just have a little spot where it has all the information real quick. And yeah, that'd be a great next project.
That'd be amazing to give that support to your students as well.
And it's also important to remember that any of these rights, like every person has them. Like he mentioned in the beginning, you know, these are rights that we have as human beings, as people that are here in the United States that we have under the Constitution. So it applies to everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.